Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're reviewing the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid. Now, I've been living with this for the last week, so this is going to be more in-depth impressions on the plug-in hybrid. Before we get in this video, though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a 2.5-liter four-cylinder paired to a hybrid system and an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 323 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, with the MPGe rating being 56, the MPG rating being 25, and you can get 26 miles of electric driving range with this plug-in hybrid. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see pretty much flat with the overall design. I mean, you do have some lines there on either side, but I like the simplicity. Now, the CX-90 definitely has striking headlights, and then you guys can see here with the grille design, pretty normal for Mazda. You do have the giant Mazda logo there in the center, and then we do have parking sensors on the front end. And putting it all together, I think that the front end of the CX-90 is the best looking part. Coming on the side here, our tire wheel setup is 275, 45, 21 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see here with the wheels, you got the silver on the outside, blacked out there in the center. And then notice the fender flares on this particular CX-90 are unpainted. You got the PHEV badge there on the side. And then all the rest of the bodywork here at the bottom also unpainted, but then Mazda there at the bottom with the chrome. And then here's your full side view with the CX-90. Definitely an interesting shape, especially towards the back end. Now here's a quick look at the key fob, got the Mazda logo there, and then you can see the lock, unlock, and then the opening for the hatch on the side. Now popping into the cargo area, you guys can see the third row is folded down, so that helps out with space. And then underneath here, this contains the charging cable, which obviously is a nice thing to have with the plug-in hybrid. And then we've got some outlet action here in the back, quite a bit actually, so you could charge a bunch of devices back here, which is another big plus. And I'm going to pull this one up so that we can see what the space is like in the third row a little bit later, and then you can see the space behind with that folded up. Anyways, press that and that will lower the hatch down. Pretty interesting taillight design, and then you guys can see here with the PHEV badge and the badging there on the other side. Parking sensors here at the bottom. And then here is the rest of the rear with the CX-90. Now taking a look at the door panel, you guys can see soft touch here at the top. Then we do have some sunshade action for the rear passengers, and then look at the trim down below. And then more soft touch here at the bottom as well. Now taking a look at the seats, really nice stitching all throughout, and then look at the little insert there in the center. It looks pretty cool. So like most crossovers in this segment, legroom is a little bit more on the cramped side. We have some USB action here on the side, and then you guys can see cup holders as well. And then headroom back here, it's good. Taking a look at the front door panel, we've got soft touch here at the top, and the camera doesn't really want to focus because it's being stupid. There we go. And then you can see the stitching and padding down below, and then look at this trim here. All of our window controls here. We've got our mirror adjustments. The mirrors do power fold in, and they have blind spot monitoring. And then here's the front seat. You can see again, perforated, and then with the insert there. Then we got our power adjustments here on the side. And then you get your memory seat function here. You've got this for like parking sensors, your traction control, the gas cap opening, and the steering wheel is manually adjustable. So taking a look at the steering wheel, really nice material use all around it. It has a very tight feel. If you ever have a chance, just get into a Mazda and touch the steering wheel. It has a very nice feel to it. Paddle shifters on the back. We got stuff like our adaptive cruise control. We've got our volume and voice command controls. And by the way, the lane keep assist system with this, not that good. Anyways, turn signal, light stock, windshield wiper stock. Now I've got this full digital gauge cluster here, which I think looks pretty cool. You can see different bits of info here on the right side with the CX-90. And then we do have some different drive modes. Got a cool little animation with each of the drive modes right there. So I think that kind of adds to the fun. Notice it kind of changes the gauge when you go into sport, for example. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera and the bird's eye view because this has a 360 camera system. Resolution on it's actually pretty solid. And then as for the infotainment system, it's not a touchscreen just like other modern Mazdas, so everything's controlled via a dial. You do have to kind of dive into like extra menus to use different functions because of the limitations of it not being a touchscreen. But what I will say is I've gotten used to it. We've got soft touch here on the dash and then also down below, which is nice, and there's some stitching that goes across. I don't know if it's going to pop up on camera. There you go, with the trim that goes to the vent. The design with this is very beautiful. Mazda always does a good job with design. Dual zone climate controls, heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel as well. And then we have a wireless phone charging pad, got a little charging port there, drive mode select, and then you guys can see here for the EV side of things to charge things. And then notice with our hill descent control, camera button as well, and then we got some cup holder action. And then of course the CX-90's shifter, which is interesting. This is the control for the infotainment system with our radio control right next to it. And I like the trim right here. Kind of reminds me of Audi, to be honest. And then pretty decent center console, not the biggest. Got some nice stitching and padding on the outside. And then with the glove box, pretty big. And then at the very top here, I've got controls for the panoramic sunroof. Here's a window sticker on the CX-90. You guys can see Premium Plus. Total MSRP after all options, $58,920. Let's see how it drives. Just like by visibility before you set off, here's visibility over the hood and hopefully you can see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors should do a blind spot monitoring. Throw the rest to the rear and let us set off. So, setting off in the CX-90. So I've been, like I said, I've been living with this for the last week. And yeah, I guess I've got some opinions here when it comes to the CX-90. So first off, really good daily driver car, very comfortable. I think they've done a really good job with that. And then on top of being, you know, super comfortable, it, you know, it's pretty quiet, and it just, you know, it feels like, again, what I'll call a pseudo luxury car. It's not full on luxury, but it's as close as it gets. Now, aside from that, pop into the sport mode here. When it comes to the acceleration, it's not bad. It's actually pretty quick, but I don't like it. I don't like the acceleration feel with this. I much prefer the inline six, even the base inline six that technically has less power than this. I much prefer that to this when it comes to acceleration. Just my personal take. I just don't, I think the plug-in hybrids like are cool because of the range you get, all of that kind of stuff, full electric range, right? But it just always seems like they over promise on the power feel, because like you always read the power figures on any plug-in hybrid and you're like, wow, that's really strong, and then you put your foot down and you're like, it doesn't feel like quite that much. So, and this is, again, it's not just the CX-90, it's just all plug-in hybrids. I think traditional hybrids are just way better when it comes to the power feel in terms of what they state and then what it feels like they have. But yeah, outside of that, really great vehicle. So I guess like I love the CX-90. I guess I'm not like sold on the plug-in hybrid. But what I will say is I do respect a few things that Mazda's done with this. So first off, the affordability aspect of this is similar in price to a, you know, Mazda CX-90 with a traditional engine. A lot of automakers, they'll make their plug-in hybrid way more expensive than the regular version, and so it's hard to justify. Whereas this, the pricing's the same. So like if you want the plug-in hybrid utility, you don't have to pay a bunch extra. And I just realized the GoPro's probably a little bit crooked, sorry about that. But yeah, you don't have to pay extra, right? So I think that's a big plus. So overall, it does all the plug-in hybrid stuff it's supposed to do, but that also is a little bit of downside because the performance, just every single plug-in hybrid has lackluster performance. And I think it's reasonably priced. And the CX-90, living with it, I really do like how this vehicle drives. It's just when I put my foot down that I get a little bit annoyed. But I know if I had that inline six, I wouldn't be annoyed whatsoever. Let me know your thoughts.